Hello and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and we're doing another of our standardized armor guide. This time we're doing the much requested Nuremberg Plate Armor. Now this one took me a little bit because of a lot of things and we'll get into that. But basically we'll be following all the rules of our standardized armor guides. We're using the same base layers and the idea being that if we do so we can compare all of the suits in the game, or at least all of the unique suits that seem to be designed to go together against each other. The qualifications to get into the standardized armor guide series is that it has to be very obvious, or at least somewhat obvious without digging in too deep, that these sets are supposed to go together. So the best case scenario is that we have a full 5 pieces, that being the head, chest, arms, hands, legs, and or feet, combined with that, all being named exactly the same. The closest set we've had so far, other than a unique set like the Sir Jezik set, which had all of them named, would be the Milanese set, which had all but one either named or closely associated to go together. But in this one we have 3. But anyway, we'll get to that when we get to it. So let's just dive on in and I'll start showing you the armor set. So we start off at layer 1, which is clothing, and this is the same layer that I've shown in the past for these sets, so I'm not going to go into too much detail for it. It's made up of the short pourpont, the padded chausses, and the burger shoes. And so the stats for those you can see displayed before you. Short pourpont has stab defense of 14, slash of 46, and blunt of 35. Padded chausses have 31, 43, and 34, and the burger shoes have 1, 4, and 1. And then of course we also include the noble's belt and noble's pouch, just because they're the best in-slot items that we can do, and they give us the most quick slots out of anything. They don't really affect much stat-wise, just weight and price. So all of that makes up the first layer for this suit of armor. People like to see it from the outside, so here is the front of this suit of armor with just the first layer. Here is the side, and here is the back. But that's layer 1. Layer 2 is our mail and padding layer. We just add the same 3 items that we always add when we're doing these standardized armor guides, and they are one of the variants of the Hauberk Long, and now there's a bunch of different variants, so depending on what color scheme you're going for, you might want a darker one or a brighter one. But they all have the same stats: a stab defense of 33, slash defense of 68, and blunt defense of 55. Then we have a mail collar with badge, same spiel there. There's several different variants, all with the same stats. We have a stab defense of 27, slash defense of 68, and blunt defense of 55. Then we have the mail hood with coat of arms. This has a stab defense of 28, slash defense of 77, and blunt defense of 59. Same thing with that, there's several different variants. The only differences that you'll find in these ones is a difference in the conspicuousness level. All the other stats, the main defensive ones that we're focused on, are all the same. So that is our second layer. Let's add on the top layer of armor. And there we have added the top layer of armor on top. So this is what I consider to be the most accurate for the Nuremberg suit of armor. And now we'll get into it a little bit later, but there's a bunch of different variations of most of these parts. So you can actually have a very different looking suit of armor, at least color wise, than this. I just decided that this one was the most consistent and it made it the most unique because it's got a darker color scheme, like a dark blued steel, which I quite like. I think it looks very good. So the pieces that make up this are 3 of them are named Nuremberg, so that's relatively easy. These other 2 are not, so I had to pick the best ones for that, and the way that I did that is, well, for the Bavarian plate legs, we'll just start there. They have a stab defense of 115, slash defense of 83, and a blunt defense of 30. I picked them because they're the best set of plate legs, so not brigandine type armor. They're the best set of plate legs that aren't named specifically to go with one of the other suits of armor. So I could have used Milanese or noble legs, but they go to different sets. They don't belong to the set, whereas the Bavarian ones do not seem to belong to any specific set. They're a more generic type of plate leg armor, and so that's why I chose to use them here, much like I did in the Magdeburg armor guide. Plus, the rest of the set here, Nuremberg being a famous town in Germany, or in what is modern day Germany, that's why I went with them as well, because Bavaria is a province of Germany in this modern day and age. So as far as distance, if you asked someone from Germany or someone from Bavaria if it was a large difference, they would probably say yes. If you ask someone from the United States, which is, 40 to 50 times the size of Germany, it doesn't seem that large of a difference. So that's why I went with it. Don't get too upset if you're from that region. It's just a smaller region of the world. It's something that I feel like everybody should probably be familiar with by now. Then I went with the Kastenbrust as the chest armor, which I quite like the way it looks. It doesn't have any armor on the back, so you definitely get less protection on the back with this one, but I do like the unique style of it, and the Kastenbrust is an example of a specific type of Gothic armor that was popular in the early 15th century, so I do like that it's included in this game because it is very unique looking. Plus, it's a type of German armor, as we can see here. from the German Cuirass description there, so it definitely fits with the Nuremberg theme. So that's what we went with for the torso armor, and there are a bunch of different variants of the Kastenbrust. So we have a stab defense of 125, slash defense of 90, and a blunt defense of 32 for this one. Then our Nuremberg pieces are fairly simple. We have this variant of the Nuremberg bassinet I chose because it has the darkest armor tint, and now it's not a huge difference between them, but it is slightly darker than the rest of them, so it matches the, like I said, dark blued aesthetic that we've got here in the outfit. This one has a stab defense of 129, slash defense of 94, and blunt defense of 33. Then we have the Nuremberg Plate Gauntlets. Same thing for these. I picked the darkest variant. They have a stab defense of 134, slash defense of 98, and blunt defense of 34. Then lastly, we have the Nuremberg Gauntlets. I once again went with the dark variant, and these have a stab defense of 134, slash defense of 98, and blunt defense of 34. So all around, pretty solid looking suit of armor in my opinion. At least I think it looks pretty dope. Stats on this suit of armor are also decent. We have a charisma. As you can see here, it's at 17. When I first put the suit of armor together, it was at 20, so I'm guessing that I got the armor a little bit dirty walking around while I was doing it, or whatever the case may be. Maybe the time of day changed and it changed it. The charisma stat seems to be the most fickle thing in this game. It's hard for me to do it, but we'll call it a range of 17 to 20 when somewhat clean with this suit of armor and no jewelry. So if you boost with some good high-level jewelry, you could easily get this up into the high 20s. After charisma, we do have a much easier one to measure, which is the total weight of this suit of armor. So everything, not counting weapons or any extra inventory stuff, we have 81.3 pounds for this suit of armor. So it's definitely heavy, but it's not as heavy as some of them that we've done so far. Then we have a total value of 19,956.9 Groschen, so under 20,000 Groschen, so it's not crazy expensive, but definitely more than the average man-at-arms would certainly be able to afford. This would still be a fairly elite suit of armor. Then we have, for our armor value, our average for the head is 211.7, our average for the body is 187.7, our average for the arms is 199, and the average for the legs is 136.3, giving us an overall average armor rating, or AAR, of 183.7. So definitely not top tier. Most of that comes down to the fact that our chest armor is significantly lower as far as damage protection goes, which makes sense considering it only covers the upper half of our torso on the front. The whole back is exposed, well, I mean, we have mail, but exposed plate armor-wise, and so is the bottom. But other than that, I think it's a pretty sweet-looking suit of armor, so I'm willing to sacrifice it, and obviously, 183, almost 184 for the AAR is still very, very good. It's still better than most suits of armor in the game. So that's it stat-wise. But, interesting fun fact, like I said, there's a bunch of different color variants for these armor pieces, so we can actually make at least 2 other fairly solid suits of armor with all these same pieces for different aesthetics. So I'll swap those out before showing you the HD stills. Alright, so here's our second variant, which is a somewhat more stereotypical, I would say, medieval knight style. You can see we've got a much shinier silver aesthetic to it. The helmet has a little blue and red accent to it, and then just overall the rest of it is considerably shinier. It's all the same pieces: Bavarian plate legs, Kastenbrust, Nuremberg bassinet, Nuremberg plate gauntlets, Nuremberg helmet, gauntlets. It's just, you know, different color variants. So I think it looks pretty good. I still prefer the first one, but this one's also pretty good, and we can easily do one more variant quick. And there we have a third variant, which is even lighter. So we went with the lightest variant for each one. You can see we've got more gold trimming like on the gauntlets and the sleeves, but the torso and the upper pauldrons definitely match in that very, very bright silver color. The helmet does the same. We have got this red accent too, which really help it stand out. And then the legs are the lightest variant of the Bavarian plate leg. So that's the third variant that I wanted to show you of this exact same suit of what I'm calling the Nuremberg plate armor. So now that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll leave you with a couple HD stills of the original suit that I showed at the beginning of this video. So thanks for watching and have a nice day. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.